Italian sports cars, the bloody war of the Seventh Crusade, a world-class soccer club, and a peaceful Pacific island. We tie these together and more only here on the Culture of Currency. Welcome, one and all, to a fantastic episode on a unique and fairly rare coin that you can still find in the market if you look hard enough. All of that and more as we look into the Serpent of Milan coin from the island of Samoa. Before we get into the details of what this coin is rated or where to get it, we need to look into the history and culture that has made its way into the forefront of this coin's story. It is in my opinion that we should start with the title of this coin, the Serpent of Milan. For those who do not know, Milan is a thriving city in Italy, as you can see on our map. It is one of the world's capitals for fashion and is a beautiful place that I highly recommend traveling, but for our story, we must visit a Milan from long, long ago. Milan as we know it can be recognized to have started when Emperor Constantine issued the Edict of Milan in 313 AD. This, as you can tell by the date, is quite early in the time of Christianity, and it was under Constantine that religious practice of many kinds were finally permitted to take place without punishment throughout the Roman Empire. This area would see legends like Attila the Hun and the Visigoths lay waste to much of Milan, which is all relevant to another video. We need to focus a little later to get the story of this coin. We need to fast forward to the 1300s. It is here that the dust in Milan settled, and the geographic location and infrastructure led it to being a great outpost for trade of goods and ideas. There's a lot I could go into, but basically in the year 1395, the first duke, named Visconti, was appointed to Milan by Wenceslaus, who was the king of the Romans, and whose name sounds like a dipping sauce. The Visconti family held control over the land starting at approximately 1277. As stated before, Constantine's Edict of Milan helped create what would become this mecca of trade, and when Constantine visited, he gifted a bronze snake like you see here in this image, which is thought to have been the inspiration for the coat of arms adopted by the House of Visconti. As you can see, this is a serpent which is devouring a small child. There are many experts who have debated what kind of child this is and why it was being eaten, but the one that makes sense to me is that this is a Turk or Moor, seeing as during the time there was a call for a seventh crusade. Now that I have said seventh crusade, I must ask my question of the day. Here's the question. What do you think the historic differences would be between all nations of Islam and Christianity if there never was a crusade? Please comment below because the question has always fascinated me. Have the tragedies of over 1,000 years blinded both sides, and how much bloodshed could have been saved? I will say that there are also some experts that think for some reason the serpent is not eating a child but rather giving birth through its mouth parts to a human, and all I can say about that is where on earth do those people go to school and who is their science teacher? This coat of arms, though it's old, still adorns many parts of Milan from antiquity and even carries through to the culture of today. One of the top football/soccer clubs is located in Milan. It is called, as you may guess, Inter Milan. Take a look at their logo. See anything familiar? Also, take a look at one of the coolest logos in sports cars. This is the logo for Alfa Romeo, and though many of the newer cars lack my interest, some of their older cars are quite beautiful to see, hear, and drive. So as you can see, yes, this coat of arms is from the Dark Ages, but it still has relevance today. The only thing we need to cover now is also the part that does not make sense to me. This is a coin steeped in amazing rich Italian heritage, but it hails from a small island in the Pacific called Samoa, as you can see here on the map. About the only thing I can find that ties the two together are plane tickets and this coin. To give you a brief understanding, Samoa has done this before in partnership with the Scottsdale Mint. Maybe I need to give you a video someday on Samoa, but this coin really does not have much to do with Samoa in content other than the coat of arms, which has a constellation of the Southern Cross, the waves of the sea, a coconut palm, all held under a cross. We also see the concentric rings and olives, as Samoa borrowed some of the themes from the United Nations. Now that we have an understanding of this coin, we can more accurately place it on our scale so that you can decide if this coin is right for you. On the obverse of the coin, as stated earlier, we have an interesting and rather unique look at the Samoan coat of arms. There's enough going on here that my eyes do not get bored, and there is an okay use of different textures with the dots on the outer band and the frosted interior. It is not immaculate, but it is better than many I have seen, so it scores a 7. Now for the back, or reverse. Here is a champion of historical art and provenance. We not only have an accurate and tasteful representation of Visconti in Milan's past, but we are also blessed with the embellished textures that keep the eyes engaged in ways that I find rare in silver coins. There are speckles around the serpent and what looks to be peace lily flowers and leaves. This is all so well done that even the surrounding scene is as beautiful as the subject. This is a visual symphony if I've ever seen one, and it scores the highest 10 out of 10. Our next category is mintage. This is where you need to perk your ears. This coin is, to my knowledge, still available, as I purchased mine not too long ago from the Scottsdale Mint website, and this coin is set to have a final mintage of just 15,000, which is fantastic, and it scores a rather rare 9 out of 10. Now we get to the Achilles heel of this coin. As we dive into the cultural significance, I need to start with the fact that I love this coin, and I'm so glad it exists, but I have to be objective as well. The coin subject matter of Milan in general, let alone a pre-Renaissance image, does in no way, shape, or form fall in line with the island of Samoa. I would even suggest that when Visconti was alive, neither he nor the Samoans even knew the other existed. This coin therefore shares the fate of the Australian Robin Hood, as it scores a 1 out of 10 in this category. I feel better now that we've addressed that, but let's get back to the good as we talk about collectability. With a mintage like this and a historically strong theme, what's not to like? We also have the benefit of having such an amazing job in artistry. I think it's a strong contender for what it's worth, and I give it an 8. Now for uniqueness. I find some old numismatic variations on this theme, but I cannot seem to find anything in silver coins that is anywhere close to this coin. But I will say that some of the numismatic art in Samoan coins are quite refreshing, so you might want to check those out. This scores a perfect 10. This brings us to our total but deceptive number of 45 out of 60, which is really only a 45 because of cultural significance. So if you do not care about both sides of the coin carrying a common theme, then this simply is a coin you cannot pass on. This will be one of those coins in my collection that I'm sure will always carry just a little bit more value to me. It is beautiful, it is historically strong, and will keep me thinking about the way events of the past can plague generations of the future. This has been a fun episode to bring to you, and I hope you remember to stay classy and current with the culture of currency.